All right, and it looks like we are now live. Hi, this is Jacob Erdy with MarketingPlayBook.co, where we help small businesses increase their sales and reputation online through digital marketing. And today we have a really exciting show. It's something I'm excited about, anyways. And if you're a bit of a stats geek, you'll probably be excited too here. And we are doing a hangout for AdWords call tracking on websites and call conversion setup. And this is something that most small businesses really haven't fully taken advantage of. Yes, some have set up call only ads and have set up call extensions, which are two really good ways to go, especially if you're a service-based industry. But I would say an estimate of probably like 90% of the companies out there, if not higher, have not set up call conversions for their website yet. And if you're a service-based industry, if somebody goes and types in, auto repair or transmission repair in their city and they're looking for a mechanic, then they see your ad. You might have the call extension in there. Let's say they're on their desktop or tablet, and they go and they click through over to your website. It can be really hard for knowing what keywords actually lead to conversions, because you might not be selling anything on your website, or you might not know, hey, what is leading to conversion, what isn't, and there was no way previously of tracking that. Well, that's changed over the years, and you can do that and set that up, that call tracking setup, through AdWords using their website to conversion for calls. So that's something we're going to be going over today, and you can follow along with me today. It's going to be at MarketingPlayBook.co episode and then the number 14. So that's MarketingPlayBook.co/episode 14, and that's where the show notes are going to be for today, and that'll definitely help you out. So let's go ahead and dive on in. And if you have any questions, what you can do is right down below, you're going to see that screen there, and you can tweet at us at MarketingPlaybook or MKTG Playbook. There we go. So I messed that up a little bit, but we are good to go. So MKTG Playbook. And I do have Twitter up here, so if you have any live questions, feel free to ask, and we'll dive right into that. So first up here, let's go over and talk a little bit about call tracking, and then I'm going to dive into AdWords and go over it with you as well. So let me set this up here. So, and this is kind of a follow-up to last week's hangout that we did. We talked about tracking inside AdWords and how to set up a conversion pixel, and it was pretty good. But at the same time, I realized, hey, we really have to give the foundation for call tracking too. We have to go a little bit more in depth on that. And in order for you to set up your conversions for your website, so call tracking on your website, you first have to have a call extension or call only ad set up as well. That way Google knows to assign you a number, and then when somebody clicks through your ad and lands on your website, that's when they'll change out your local number that you have there with 1-800 number or something along those lines. And it's only going to change out when somebody clicks on an ad from AdWords and then lands on your website. So your phone number, if somebody just goes to your website, is still going to be the same. But with using Google Call Forwarding, what will happen is when they click on an ad and then land on your website, it's going to change that number. And when somebody calls that number, let's say you have the conversion pixel set up for 60 seconds or 90 seconds. Well, after that 60 seconds or 90 seconds is up, it's then going to count it as a conversion, and it knows what ad led to that call. And because they know what ad led to that call, they know what keyword led to the call, and they'll be able to assign that for what keywords are actually generating you leads, which is really cool and good to understand. So let's go ahead, and I kind of already covered a little bit of what is call tracking. So with call tracking, you really have three options inside AdWords. So you have call only ads, which are ads that you click, and the only option is to call. So you don't land on somebody's website, you actually just call them. And then there's call extensions, and call extensions are just that. It's an extension. It extends out your ad. So you have your regular text ad, and then underneath that, you're going to have an option to call. And again, this is going to be on the show notes page too. If you want to follow along, it's there. And it'll oftentimes with videos, it's great that we do these hangouts, but having those show notes really are helpful. So feel free and check it out. And then the other one that we have is going to be calls from websites after a user clicks your ad. And that's the one that we're going to kind of go more in detail on today. But first, we kind of have to go over the first two because you have to at least have one of those set up, the call extension anyway set up, and once you have one of those two set up, call only ads or call extensions, you should set up both. Then you'll be able to use the clicks to websites, and we'll cover exactly how to do that and how to set up the code on your website. But before we do that, the very first thing you're actually going to need to do is actually set up your conversion tracking first, because without it, you're not going to know what leads to a sale and what doesn't. So the very first thing you're going to do is actually go in and set up a conversion pixel. And before you can do that, you're kind of going to have to sit down and think about, and this is whether you're an e-commerce store or a service-based industry, you're going to have to think about, well, how many phone calls does it take for me to get a sale? And for a lot of companies out there, the bottom threshold is about 20% land rate. So if you have 5 calls that come in, you should be landing at least one of those. And that's kind of across the board. If you're higher than that, then fantastic. If you're lower than that, then you probably have to work on your sales pitch when it comes to people calling, or you just might have a lot of tire kickers, right? I mean, that does happen. So if it was, let's say, the 20% land rate for a call, and your average sale nets you a net earning of $50, that would mean that you would be able to spend up to $10 a phone call, and you can associate that value. So if you land 1 in 5, the value for that is going to be $50 if that's the value of that initial customer, or the value for the first 6 months of the life of the customer. And so it's up to you and your business to determine which number that is, but you're going to want to assign a CPA goal to it. That way you're going to be, that's cost per action. That way you're going to be able to optimize your ads better. Now, it's great to know which ones lead to, what keywords are leading to conversions or calls at least, but by assigning that monetary value, it makes it a little bit easier for you to try to optimize for a specific ROI and stuff down the road. So I'd highly suggest you try and set that up, and you can always change it at a later date too. So going off of the CPA action of $10, that means we can pay up to $10 a click, right? So 1 in 5 we land, 20%, $50. That means we can pay $10 a click. Now, off the bat with AdWords, you might be paying a higher CPC, cost per click amount. Maybe not $10. In some industries, yes, but $2, $3, $5, $6. It's not uncommon at all. But you can always limit your daily budget if you're uncomfortable with that. You can always start with very, very small amount of keywords. And we've covered that more in depth in earlier Hangouts and in our free Google search guide. So I won't go more into that. But let's go ahead and let me switch it over here. I got to switch screens. Let's see if I hit the right screen, and I did. So congratulations to me. I'm happy. So what we're going to do is the very first thing, we're inside this, and this is just an example account that I have just for this. And we're going to go ahead and go to Tools. We're going to go to Conversions. And the first thing I want to set up is an actual conversion pixel for tracking calls. So I'm going to go ahead, and you're going to see that we have a few in here right now. And the example I set up currently is going to be the MPB 60 seconds. So we'll test that out later on. We have to give it a little while to see if it actually goes through for us. Hopefully it works in our live testing. If not, that'll be a little embarrassing. But you'll get to see exactly how I do it and how I implement it on the website at least. And I'll tell you that it's done correctly, so we'll be good. So I'm going to go ahead and hit the plus conversion button. And right here, so you have your regular websites, you have the apps and the imports, but it's the phone calls we want, right? So we're going to select the phone calls. And for here, you have calls from ads using call extensions or call only ads, which is what we're going to set up right now. The next one that we have is calls to a phone number on your website. So that's going to be the second one that we actually set up. But we have to set up the first one in order to get that call forwarding number in the first place for Google to then show that number with the calls to a phone number on your website. So we're going to go ahead and do this first one. Calls using call extensions and call only ads. And we'll actually set up a call extension call only ad for you just because this is a call. setup. So here, go ahead and name it. You can name it whatever you want, and if you want to use this for a specific niche, you can. Let's say you're a car mechanic and you just want to use this. Well, this is just for, transmission repair, or this one's just for oil change. Really, it doesn't matter if you have an average customer value. What I usually do here is I already had one called click to ads, but maybe your company name or conversion, call conversion, and then what I'll usually do is I'll actually say the time amount afterwards, so 60. So the call length I'm going to set up as 60 seconds, and so I'm going to put that there just so I know which one it is. So I'll do call conversion 60. Done. Enter in the value that you want. So each call is worth, we'll say we've already determined that each call is going to be worth $10 because I'm going to land 1 in 20 or 1 in 5. So we'll be done. The call length is going to be 60 seconds. We can go in, we can change that, and depending upon your industry, you might find that you don't know whether the person is a sell until 3 minutes in, or 4 minutes in, or 5 minutes in. Sorry, there, took a sip of coffee. Now I'll go ahead and hit done. You can change and adjust that call length. I usually like to have it at a pretty low barrier, just because there are times where it's a quick question to come in, and I like to know that the keyword is at least driving interest. So usually I set it pretty low. 60 seconds, 30 seconds is usually what I end up setting it up for. And then what do you want to do? Do you want to count it every time they call or just once? I'm just going to put 1 in there. And then the conversion window, 30 days, I leave it blank. For the category, it's set up as lead by default. You can change that to sign up, a sale, or other. It doesn't matter what you select. I'm going to leave it at lead. And then include in conversions. Yes, you want to include it in conversions. So I'm going to go ahead and hit save and continue. And then it's going to tell me, hey, you're almost finished. Go to call extensions or go to call only ads. So we're going to go ahead and we'll go to the call extensions. If you were to click that, I'd be taken directly to the call extensions. I'm just going to hit close though, and just show you how to set that up inside a campaign. So I'm going to go back over to my campaigns here, and hopefully it loads up nice and fast. It's still loading. All right, so here we are. This is my campaign. I called it call example. And so I'm going to go into the campaign itself, and now inside the campaign, I'm going to go ahead and go to Add Extensions, and then under Add Extensions here, you're going to see that I have a campaign extension set up already. So you just click on the sub tab here and go to the call extensions. And once I'm in the call extensions, we're going to see that this has already been approved. This number right here, which is a forwarding number to me. If you call it, I won't answer, just so you know. It's set up as an example here. It probably won't be live, but let's go ahead and go in, and I could just technically just hit plus extension if I wanted to add in a new one. I already have one here. Otherwise, you'd hit new phone number. I'm just going to edit this just because it's going to look the exact same. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to select the country. Here in this case, it's United States. I'm going to put in the phone number. And so that's their phone example. You can put it in that way, or you can just put it in the way I put it in. It works all the same. And then here is where you'd say whether you want to use a Google forwarding number or whether you want to use your own number. You're going to want to select use a Google forwarding number, and the reason why is because it's going to reroute the call. It's going to show the individual a different call number, but when that number is pressed for the call in the call extension and they call you, it's going to be routed directly to your phone line, and that's how they can track the duration of the phone call, which can ultimately lead to the sale. And then for the device preference, you can select mobile. If you select mobile, what it's going to do is it's going to show it on mobile devices. Now, can it still show on desktop devices? Yes. Can it still show on tablet devices? Yes, but generally not as much. I myself, for the service-based industry, I don't. I just leave it blank because I don't really care if it's a desktop person seeing the number, because what are they going to do? They can dial it manually, and if they dial it manually, you're still going to be charged because it's a forwarding number, right? So Google knows, oh, look, this person dialed it. Now, it might not get tracked, but still, it's a good way of going, and that's why I use it. So then right here, report phone call conversions, I'm going to have that box checked. And then right here under the conversion action, you're going to actually choose the conversion action. So you'll see that I just set that up, call conversion 60. Or did I just set that up? I forget, sorry. I already forget which one we set up. It might not have gone live yet, but I have it click from ads. I'm going to leave that the way it is because I already set up tracking based upon this, so I don't want to mess with it. Otherwise, the live example isn't going to work. So I'm going to go ahead and hit cancel. Usually you'd hit save. I'm going to hit cancel so it doesn't go back under review, because if it does, then I can't show you the live example of how this works. So that's an ad extension. And now that I have that on, I can actually set up a call forwarding from your website. But before I do that, I'm actually going to go through an example real quick of setting up a call only ad. So I'm going to go under ads, and under ads, we're going to see that, hey, I have 2 ads in here, and one's going to be a call only ad, and that would be that one. And I'll go ahead and click right here. So to add an ad, the red plus add button, and we're going to have text ad in there, and then we're also going to have call only ad. So, if you set up a text ad, that's great. What it's going to do is it's going to show you the text ad with the call extension underneath it if you're in the number 1, number 2 position, which is fantastic. And then if it's the call only ad, it'll only give the option of just calling you. So you can't go to the person's website. It's only for a phone call. And generally, what I'll usually do is I'll actually clone the campaigns that I currently have, and then have call only ads inside those, and then up the bid on it. And the purpose for doing that is because if you mix them in with other ad groups and with other ads, generally just the non-call one will generally always win out, just because of how AdWords tests out their ads. So just something to think about. If you are doing call only ads, you might find that it's a lot that, hey, I never get any clicks or calls on my call only ads. Well, extend it out. Break into its own ad group and up the bid, and you'll probably start getting some volume there. So I'm going to go ahead and let's say I did click the call only. This is what you're going to be shown, is the ad that's going to come up here in just a second. Eventually, Google's a little slow today. So this is an example of the ad right there, and it's just going to give you the option to call. It will still show your URL in there if you have it for your business name. And that's generally what I recommend, is you just put in, for your business name, I recommend you put in your actual URL. So even if it was, Clyde's Auto Repair, let's say your website was MinneapolisAutoRepair.com, put in MinneapolisAutoRepair.com. It seems to work better. That way you have a chance of somebody not clicking on the ad and just going directly to your website, which is still fantastic. So here we're going to select again the United States, and then we're going to go ahead and you'll see we have the phone number in there. And then this is my description 1, this is my description 2, this is the display URL, and this is the verification URL. And the purpose for a verification URL is Google is going to go out and look at this URL right here, MarketingPlayBook.co. And when they go to MarketingPlayBook.co, they're going to verify that, is this number really on the website or not? And the reason behind that is because a lot of marketers out there were taking people's websites that are very, very popular and well-known and doing some bad things. Basically, they were pretending to be that company, and so people thought they were calling that specific company, but they were actually calling a different company because they had the business name in there, but because that phone number wasn't on the website, they could put in any number they wanted. And, I could pretend to be, a locksmith service of my competitor. So people think they're calling my competitor, but they're actually calling me. So with the verification in there, it protects you. It says that this number has to be on this page that you put in there. And if it's not, then it's not going to work for you. They're not going to do the call forwarding, and that they'll only forward to this number right here that you have listed. So that's a really good thing. And then right here, count causes conversions. And again, we're going to select our conversion action that we have there already set up, which is click from ads. And then you'd go ahead and hit the save ad button. In my case, I'm not going to, because we don't want it to go back under review. So it's already approved, so we're good to go. And now we've set up our call extension ad, and we've also set up a call only ad. So now it's time to go ahead and try and set up the forwarding calls on the website. And sorry if there's been any questions coming in here on Twitter. It's kind of hard to do both at the same time, but we have it up. We are good to go. If you have any questions, feel free and just tweet them right now. It's going to be MKTG Playbook, and that's going to be on Twitter, so just go ahead and tweet at us there, and you'll be good to go. We also do have on MarketingPlayBook.co/connect. We have our community page where you can join us for on a private Facebook group, which is currently open right now and free to anybody who joins. If you join now on the private forum, you're going to get lifetime access. Down the road, I am going to start charging for it. That's one of the ways in which we're going to start making money off of this someday, right? And there you can ask unlimited questions in a private setting. So that's fantastic because you don't have to out what you're trying to do to the world, and you're going to get expert advice there. So we also do have a Facebook fan page. We also have a Google community that is free to join as well, and that's all on the Connect page. And the Google community is going to be free, and it's more for asking questions more in the open. So if you can't afford a membership down the road, and you never signed up, then it's a great way of still doing it. But just note that it's open to the public, so anybody can see what you post. So that's why we have the private group. And we also have a newsletter, so be sure and join our newsletter too as well. The newsletter, where we send out emails every Monday letting you know what the Wednesday show is about, which is fantastic. We do it every Wednesday at 2 p.m. Central Standard Time. We have a live hangout covering a variety of digital marketing topics geared towards small businesses. So now that I'm done pitching, let me go ahead and go back in and show you how to set up the website call conversion, because this is what the moment people have been waiting for, right? So I'm going to go ahead and go to Tools. We're going to go back over to Conversions. So now that I've set up a call-only ad and I've set up a call extension, I'm good to go. I can easily set up for the website. So I'm going to hit plus conversion. I'm going to select phone calls. This time I'm going to say calls to phone number on your website. And this is fantastic. So I'm going to go ahead and hit continue, and then I'm going to name this. So I'm going to call this MPB2 calls from website, and I'm going to say 60 seconds. So I already have one set up, but I'm going to reset it up for you. And so the value, I'm going to say the value is worth $10 again. And then I have it set up already at 60 seconds, one conversion, 30 days. I count it as lead, and yes, count it in conversions. I'm going to go ahead and hit save and continue. And so now this is where you're given multiple codes here, and this is the part that confuses a lot of people, because they're going to get this code, and it's in two different sections, and they're like, well, okay, what exactly am I supposed to be doing with this? And read right here. This conversion action requires the Google forwarding numbers, which are only available in certain countries. So this isn't available worldwide, but in the vast majority of T1 countries, in the United States, Canada, UK, Australia, and the like, it's fully available, so you'll be good to go. So right here, you need to install this conversion tracking tag on your website, and this is going to be in the header of your website. So between the head tags on your website is where you're going to need to place this in. If you have no idea how to do that, it's relatively easy, and I'm actually going to walk through how to do it inside MarketingPlayBook.co. But the problem there is, if you're not using WordPress or using a different theme, the process is going to be slightly different. But you can easily hire somebody on Fiverr to do this for you, or you can hit us up if you need me to do it for you and set it up real quick. I can. It's not too hard as long as you already have the code. I'd have to charge you for it, but it's relatively simple to do. And if you're a member on Facebook already, if our private group, I'll do it for free. How about that? So here's the code right here, and so I'm going to go ahead and this first code I need to place in between the header tags on MarketingPlayBook.co. So I'm going to show you how to do that here in just a second. As I bring up MarketingPlayBook.co, I'm going to bring it over here. And so this might be cut off a little bit for you. I'm using the Divi theme from Elegant Themes. I like them. It's a pretty decent theme all in all. You can see I need to renew it. But on the bottom left, it says Divi. Then I'm going to Theme Options. I know it's cut off by my banner at the bottom, but you'll see exactly kind of where I'm putting it in the site. And if you're a static website, it's really easy. You just view it. And this code only has to go on the page that that the phone number's on. You don't have to put it on each and every page. You can, and there's nothing wrong with that. If you put it on each and every page, you're perfectly fine. And by doing that, it really doesn't matter. If you just want it on specific pages because you set up multiple different conversions and conversion tracking, so you want it for oil changes, and then you want it for transmission, or you want it for certain types of dental procedures, you can set it up on specific landing pages. That way you can track multiple different types of conversions if you have multiple different types of conversion values. So you can really get creative with doing this. But here I'm under integration, and right here this is going to add the code in between my head blog. And so if we scroll down, you're going to see that that's the code right there. So if I did it in my text document, oh, you can't see the text document, but that's what it'd look like if you could. Oh, you can. Good deal. I was able to do it. So this is the code, and you're going to see that it closely matches what I have right here. The main difference is going to be right here and right here because it's a different conversion value. Well, no, that one is the 502. Yeah, so that one's for the account, and right here is the main difference right there. And so that's what's going to assign and get the different Google number, and then it's going to go ahead and replace with the Google forwarding number. So this is the first part of the script there, and this is basically telling Google, hey, if you're coming from AdWords, then look below and replace this with that. But now we have to set in the second part of the code, which going back here, and this is the part that totally stumps a lot of people. So this is their thing right here. Add code to replace the number with Google forwarding number. Follow these steps. So if you follow these steps, you'll look at it and be like, man, that looks really confusing. And because it kind of is. But if we go over on the MarketingPlayBook.co website and we actually go into the article here I have in the show notes page, we're actually going to show you the code that I tend to use, which works great. So we're going to go ahead and scroll down. And the code I use, there's two different options here for you, and one's really, really simple, and the other one's a little bit more complex. So let's take a look. And right here, so this is where we're at, and this is the first code that we put on our website. I also link out to exactly where that is in the Google Show Notes page. But then we're going to have two different options here. There's actually three, but I'm just going to leave it at two. Just to make it really simple for you. So this is the first code you can use. Right here, you can just copy this, and you can place this in place of your phone number on your website. So if I were to go back over and view the home page here, oh, I hit dashboard, not home page. We're going to see it, that the phone number's right here. So this one is there, and then we have the second, the number two there again, and I'll show you why in a second. And so all you have to do is you have to just put this in where your other phone number is, and what it's going to do here is it's going to get the forwarding number, and it's going to look for this right here, and then it's going to replace it right here. So they click on your ad, and now it's going to change to the Google forwarding number. So this, you'd actually, right here I have 1-800-123-4567. You're going to change this out with your phone number in this format. You're going to change this out with your phone number in that format. And once you do that, it'll replace your existing phone number. When somebody clicks on an ad from AdWords and then goes to your landing page, it's going to replace it for you automatically, which is really, really cool. And the second way of doing it, so that's really easy, but for me, when somebody goes to the website, I want that ad to be clickable. So many of these searches, especially on AdWords and people looking for service-based industries, so many of them are already on mobile phones. And why not just make it easy for them? Why not just make it so, yeah, there's the phone number that they can see, but then also have the phone number where they can just call you. So if you go right here, and you'll see that this number isn't clickable. So this is the first example that we used with the code. But right here, this number is clickable. And of course, I can change the color, and I can change the formatting and make it bigger or smaller. but this number is clickable. So if I was there on a phone, I'd be able to just call it, which is really cool to be able to call that. And you can get fancy with it. You can make this on a button, and you know, it's not too hard to hire somebody off of Fiverr to implement this type of code for you and say, yes, but I want a really nice looking mobile button that says call us now, or other stuff like that, and then have some CSS that automatically has the number listed and then switches it out based upon the code. So it's not too hard to do. But the second way, if you wanted to make it so it's linked, and this is a bit more complicated, we got to do 2 additional things. And the first is going to be copying this into the header section. So if I were to take this right here, and I'll explain it to you here. So what this is doing, and this right here with the forward dashes just means it's formatted out. So this isn't readable code. It doesn't show up anywhere. But what it's doing is it is with the formatted number, which is right here, number to display in the same format as the number passed to Google, basically AdWords. In this case, 1-800-123-4567. So is what you would do is you'd actually change this formatted number to your phone number like this. And then with the mobile number, you're going to change it to this. And that way it adds it as a mobile number, and that way it's clickable in the link itself. So that's pretty simple to do. And if you go down here, we'd add that into the header section of your website again. So if I go back to my theme options, we're going to see that I did it right there as well. So I went ahead and I changed it and I added it in, and we should be good there now because I added that in. And then if I go over to back to the code, now we have that in the header section. So now it's going to say, and the whole reason for doing it is to really change out this link right here, so it's actually clickable. So right now we have our number in there, but when somebody clicks it, we want it to be hyperlinked, and this is why it's set up this way. So now we're going to use this code, and we're actually going to use this code on our website for the linked number right there. And let's go ahead and take a look at what that might look like for you. So inside AdWords, I'm going to go into widgets. Inside WordPress, I'm going to go under widgets, and then I have it right here in the text area. Let me do automatically add paragraphs. That way it looks a little bit better on the front page. And so right here, this is going to be the linked number. So this is linked for mobile devices. That way you can just click it, and it'll say, oh, let's call. And then you could click the call button to confirm. It automatically puts it in the phone, so the person doesn't have to do anything, which is fantastic. And then here's the example of just the standard one without it being in there, without the link being clickable. So I'm going to go ahead and hit save. We're going to go back over to our website, and you can put this in and embed it into a WordPress page, anywhere in the post. It really doesn't matter. As long as you can embed JavaScript in there, you should be good to go, and it, it'll look good. So let me go ahead and refresh this just because I changed the format a little to add in the paragraph. So again, this link is clickable, and then this link over here is not clickable. So now comes the moment of truth, and we'll see if this actually sets up. So I'm going to go to google.com, and I'm going to type in MarketingPlayBook.co. And so there's an ad right there, and I may not have been assigned the call forwarding number just yet. But if I click on that, we can try it in Chrome too to see if it works in Chrome. I'm going to go there, I'm going to click this. And it might be a caching issue too. So yeah, so once you click on the ad, this should format and change. The number may not have come down yet. I should have set this up the other day, but I didn't. And so that might be why. But let me go ahead and switch over to Chrome real quick just to see if we can't get this going. So let me go over to Chrome. I'm going to type in MarketingPlayBook.co. And there is an ad there. So this is Chrome, so I'm just going to lay this on top, and I'm going to click on the ad, and sadly this is the only way to test it, is you have to go and you have to actually click on your own ad and pay for the click to be able to test it out. But it's important that you do test it out, and you might have to clear your browsing cache and but it's important to test out so you know, okay, yes, it's working, or no, it isn't working. So I'm going to do this, and we're going to see, nope, still hasn't taken effect yet. So eventually here, hopefully it will. When it does, I'll add it to the show notes page to show you, hey, look, it changed, and that'll be exciting, right? So really, that's all we have for today. And with this now, you're going to be able to track those calls that come in. So before, it could, you could be spending a lot of money and not knowing, well, I'm getting phone calls from my website because people are clicking on my ad and going to my website, but I have no idea, is it leading to a sale? Is it not leading to a sale? And that's the most frustrating part. And I'm telling you right now, over 90% of all small businesses out there who are advertising on AdWords are not taking advantage of this. And I guarantee you, if you're, a carpet cleaning company, if you're a roofing company, if you're an auto mechanic, even if you're doing insurance agents are starting to do a lot more of this just because, they're more on the forefront because it's such a competitive field. Same with real estate agents. But still, so many people are not doing it yet. And you can get leaps and bounds ahead of your competition by putting that in there and seeing and tracking your actual clicks to your website, which is fantastic. So I'd highly recommend you set that up. That way you know what's working, you know what isn't working, and you're going to be far better off. And currently, everybody's going to start doing this here in another year or so. It's just going to be standard practice. But for right now, nobody's doing it. And it'll allow you to dominate your market and allow you to take a lot of that market share from a lot of people. So that is going to be it for today. If you have any questions, feel free to ask. Just post a comment below on the page, and we'll get back to you in the blog section. Otherwise, you can go ahead and, we have our newsletter. Feel free to sign up to our newsletter. The show notes page, once again, is going to be MarketingPlayBook.co/episode 14. For next week's episode, I never finalize it until Monday, really, is when I finalize the episodes. But I'm probably thinking we're probably going to do something with Facebook just because we haven't talked a whole lot about Facebook yet. And I know so many small businesses who have tried it on Facebook and it's like, oh man, it's killer and it sucks because you can never make money. Well, I'll try to walk you through a few funnels and show you how you can make money and you can produce leads on it. But it's a whole different beast and it's a whole different strategy. So I'll probably have something on that, or else I'll jump over into Bing ads just because Bing still has 25% of the market share. And one of the great things about Bing is it's an older audience, and generally you're going to get a lower cost per click because there's less competition. There's not a whole lot less, but there's a little less competition. And then you're also going to be able to do some pretty cool things on Bing, and it converts great. So I love using Bing ads. I use it all the time. So that's going to be it for today's episode. Doesn't look like we have any questions coming in, which is fantastic. Hopefully everybody knows what they're doing. Feel free and join our private Facebook group. You can get to that by going to the community page on our website, and that's going to be MarketingPlayBook.co/connect. And from there, you'll be able to join our private Facebook group and the like. So that's all we have for today. I hope it helps, and take care.